For this project, I designed a chatbot called Clarity to address a specific learning problem: student overwhelm. Many students struggle not because they lack ability, but because large academic tasks, unclear instructions, or multiple deadlines create cognitive overload. When this happens, planning and focus become much harder, and students often don't know where to start. Clarity was designed as a calm study support chatbot to respond to this issue. Rather than providing answers or completing work, it helps students slow down, clarify what they're working on, and break tasks into small, manageable steps. This design choice was intentional. There is an ongoing debate in education about whether excessive use of AI can reduce independent thinking. Clarity takes the opposite approach by supporting thinking processes such as planning and reflection, while ensuring the learner remains in control. To use Clarity, students describe what they're working on or what feels overwhelming. The chatbot asks a small number of guiding questions and supports the task step by step, without doing the work for them. In the rest of this video, I'll show how I designed, tested, and refined Clarity, and explain the reasoning behind these design decisions. To begin the design process, I used Poe and selected the option to create a prompt-based chatbot. Before creating the final version of Clarity, I first developed a test version so I could explore how different prompt choices affected the chatbot's behavior. During testing, I focused on tone and length. The first response was too long and risked cognitive overload. The tone in the second response became overly apologetic for an academic support assistant. Through further refinement, the responses became calmer, more concise, and more structured. By the later iterations, the chatbot was responding as intended, acknowledging overwhelm, slowing the interaction down, and introducing one step at a time. I also tested how Clarity handled requests to complete academic work. In the final example, it clearly refuses and redirects the learner towards planning, supporting independent thinking. Now let's move on to creating the final version of Clarity. First, I upload the logo for Clarity. Clarity's logo represents the movement from cognitive overload to clear, focused thinking. Once I inserted Clarity as the chatbot's name, I moved on to describe what Clarity does and how to use it. Next, I inserted the final prompt that controls how Clarity behaves. Rather than providing content, the prompt acts as a pedagogical framework that shapes tone, pacing, and interaction. Clarity is instructed to respond calmly, ask one or two guiding questions, and support the learner step by step, helping to reduce cognitive overload. It can acknowledge feelings of overwhelm without apologizing or positioning itself as a counselor, keeping the focus on learning. Clear boundaries ensure that if a student asks Clarity to complete academic work, it refuses and redirects them towards planning or guidance. The greeting message reinforces this by creating a calm starting point and inviting the learner to explain what they're working on. I then put Clarity to the test by seeing how it would respond to an overwhelmed student with an essay deadline creeping up, who doesn't know where to start. This response reflects principles of self-regulated learning. Clarity pauses the interaction, asks clarifying questions, and supports planning before action, helping the learner regain control rather than rushing into the task. Here, Clarity reinforces confidence and then introduces scaffolding by narrowing the task to a single, concrete step. By focusing only on the essay question, the chatbot reduces complexity and helps the learner move forward without becoming overwhelmed. Overall, designing Clarity showed me that educational chatbots are most effective when they support thinking rather than replace it. By responding to student overwhelm with calm pacing, scaffolding, and clear boundaries, Clarity demonstrates how artificial intelligence can reduce cognitive overload while preserving learner autonomy. One deliberate design choice was not including a knowledge source. This was to ensure that Clarity supports students' planning and thinking processes rather than providing academic content, helping to avoid over-reliance on artificial intelligence and keeping the learner actively involved. This project reinforced the importance of ethical and pedagogical design when using artificial intelligence in education. If developed further, Clarity could be refined through student feedback to continue supporting independent learning without encouraging dependency.